I don't know. Oh,
it went live! Yay!
It's live! Yay! It worked!
All right. So I guess the first thing we should do is put out the link on our Discord,
Yes.
so that everybody can join us, and then also putting it on Twitter. Think.
Yes. Oh, did that work? I pressed the button. Hopefully it worked. I can do it unless you want to.
I
have it all open.
I was gonna say, if you have it all open, please do, because I got the questions.
Okay, I got it.
I don't know if we can tell if people have gotten here, but if you're here, hello.
I'm gonna see if I can open it like on my computer as like a secondary window.
Okay. Yeah, you'll probably have to like mute it, because otherwise you're gonna be hearing yourself like 5 seconds in the past, and it's gonna be
we're gonna double up, and that would be awful. Okay. So it should now be out on Twitter and okay, it is now up on Discord.
Sweet.
There we go.
Yay. Okay, so now we just have to wait for people to come in.
Yep. No, it shows up on my feed. Oh, there goes it. It duplicated.
Oh boy.
All right. I have it up. Oh. All right, I think it's working.
Yay. Okay.
Sweet. All right. We have it up.
Sweet. So if you guys are just joining us, hello. Welcome to the final feast for the HouseCup-a-thon. Yay!
We are so close. The month is not over, obviously. Calendars. But so if you're still reading, you have a couple more days to get your points in. Hufflepuff is currently winning.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
We've been behind Ravenclaw for so long. I'm so proud of my Hufflepuffs. We've been kicking butt lately. Yay!
You've done amazing. Like Ravenclaw has been leading basically the entire time, and you guys pulled ahead. So we got to get on it if we're gonna win. Ravenclaws have got to get caught up.
Well, and if I finish A Clash of Kings tonight, I'm going to be adding another 100 points. So we're going to do good.
You're going to add so much. And I just finished my most recent book, which means like I've already I have nothing. So I would have to read an entire probably 2 books like by myself if none of my other Ravenclaws have the opportunity to.
Well, see, the thing for me was I was pumping out books like almost like every day, because I have so many arcs that I have for April. So it's been ridiculous. Like I had oh my God. So far I think I'm up to 13 books this month I've read, because they're all arcs. And it's been ridiculous. And funny enough, there are a lot of romance ones that I'm actually enjoying. And I'm not a rom-com kind of person. So I've been massively enjoying a lot of the books I've read so far this month.
That's good. Yeah, I've had a couple of arcs that I read. And I used to take so long to get through arcs. And I saw on Twitter, I have no idea who it was, but I saw somebody on Twitter mention that there was an app you could get to download your books that you get from NetGalley, and it will read them to you.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've been using that, and it's great. The voice is a robot, which takes a while to get used to, but once I get a couple pages into it, I don't even notice it anymore.
That's interesting, though. That's cool that they've actually come out with something for that, because instead of having to just wait. But no, it's been interesting. The one I'm working on now, besides A Clash of Kings, is an arc for a book called Song of Songs, which is basically I think is supposed to be a historical fiction story about the Queen of Sheba. Which I didn't think that was an actual thing. I thought that was just a reference that was made in Animaniacs or something like that when I was a kid. So I didn't realize it was an actual thing. And it from what I can tell of the synopsis, it's supposed to be kind of the like really old, like Middle Eastern story.
Oh, okay.
Because it talks about like Israel and Jerusalem, and like by like some older names. So I'm interested to see how it is. Like I'm only like a few chapters in, but it's pretty good so far. So
that's cool. Yeah, I just finished reading Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. I was so confused for like a good chunk of this book, like because it deals with mental illness like a lot, but it does it in like a magical realism kind of style, and magical realism confuses the heck out of me.
Yeah, unless you're like got like animals that have personalities, magical realism for me is very hard because it's just very difficult to grasp. But I don't know.
Yeah, I say it was good. I liked it. Like I just finished it like 5 minutes before we started like prepping for this. So
Yeah.
I literally just finished it.
And you're still confused.
I'm still confused. Like I get it, I understand it, but like it was a trip. It was a journey. It was a good journey, but it was a journey.
Isn't that one like supposed to be like kind of sad too? Like in a lot of ways. Like
yeah.
I remember Emma Books had read it a while ago, and she said she really loved it. And I'm trying to remember what it specifically had. Like I think it might have something to do with depression, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the things it deals with, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. There are trigger warnings abound in this book. Like, it's intense.
Yikes.
Like, if you can think of a trigger warning, it is probably touched on at some point in this book. Even if it's just a sentence, it's probably in there.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's the main, I don't know if it's spoiler, so I don't want to say, but, like, mental health is the defining feature of this book. So
okay. All right. That's what I figured.
So it touches on just about everything. So
okay. All right. Well, everybody, tell us how your guys' reading's going. Have you finished any of your books? Have you gotten your points put up on on the Discord? If you have not put your books in on the Discord for your houses, please make sure to do that so that we can make sure we have accurate totals for the house points. Currently, as Adrian said, we have Hufflepuff in the lead with Ravenclaw not very far behind, and Slytherin is in third place with, I think, still 50 points since like the beginning of the month. And Gryffindor has no points because nobody from Gryffindor has informed us of having any points set up. So
yes. So if you are a Gryffindor, head over to the Discord and let us know that you read something so that we can, give you credit, because if you're reading, you earned it. That's the whole point of this readathon.
And I want to say too, like both Adrian and I have been discussing kind of the last few weeks about this readathon, and we're very sorry for how kind of helter-skelter things have been with it. It's been a trip for all of us, and it's been a labor of love, but we are really trying to work out some kinks to get this to work well for the future. We're definitely not doing it in April again next year, though, because that was a travesty. With the magical owls going on, I feel like it just is overwhelming.
Yes, it definitely.
So I think that we've decided the next round that we're doing in 2019 is in November, and then the next round for 2020 is going to be in May instead, because we figured that was going to be a lot easier for a lot of people.
Yes. From what we understand, the magical readathons, which I have been participating in and I'm loving doing, by the way, it's a lot of fun. They take place in April and August, so we were trying to avoid those. And the what is it now? The Biblio Games. This year have been February and June.
July.
Is the next one.
June? I thought it was July. Okay.
No, it was going to be July, and then they announced
Biannual Bibliothon
on the Twitter. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking is the Biannual Bibliothon. Yeah. That's in July.
Yes, Biannual Bibliothon is July. But yeah, Biblio Games is in June. I think they're supposed to be releasing like the information for that really soon. So
yeah. I do know that the Sailor Moonathon will be probably happening again in May next year. So that'll be something that we'll have to deal with too. But I think next year I'm going to do Sailor Moonathon because I haven't watched Sailor Moon in God knows how long, so I did not feel prepared enough to be able to be in that readathon. So I think I'm going to participate in it next year.
Yeah. Say, I never watched Sailor Moon. Like, that was not one I ever got into. So, but I like started watching like anime and all that really late.
Yeah.
in life. Like, I think I started like my junior year of high school. Like, I was way
Well, like, I remember just watching it because it was kind of around the same time that like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were out,
mm,
and those were like two shows that my sister and I loved. So Sailor Moon was kind of in that area, but like it was kind of, we kind of skirted around it because I don't exactly know what happened, but we just kind of like found a few episodes at some point and we watched them and liked them, and then like we never watched them again. So I have very vague memories of watching Sailor Moon, but I used to have a little plushie of the white cat, and
oh
it was so
yeah.
cute.
Yeah. I never watched like any anime. Like, I didn't watch Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, none of it. I never watched any of it.
Dragon Ball Z I did not get into. I was never really interested in it. It just seemed like a lot of
Yeah.
screaming and a lot of yelling, and I was not okay with it.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Yeah, it's like just a lot of shouting.
I have some of my friends though that they're like, "You need to watch it. It's such a good story," and I'm like, "But yeah, there's a lot of screaming and yelling, and I don't think that that's gonna be entertaining for me." Because
Yeah.
that's what happens in my head most days. I don't need that to be in a show.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I never watched that. My husband, on the other hand, like, he is all caught up on Pokemon and the whole thing. Like, he loved it growing up. And so, like, when we got married, like, they later, like, not long after we got married, X and Y, the games came
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we played those together because we both had like the two DSs.
Oh,
And so
gotcha.
we both got opposite versions and we played it together. So
That's
that was my
awesome.
first like journey into Pokemon. So
Yeah, I want to say like I really remember getting heavily invested in like the card games about the time that Harry Potter honestly came out. Weird enough, like nice segue back to what we're doing today. I do remember though that like I used to collect the cards when I first started watching both shows, and I think you're muted.
I muted
Okay.
myself so you guys wouldn't hear me swallow.
Oh, no, I was watching the show when I was very, very young, like probably like 5 or 6. And then I was also starting to collect the cards. And then by the time that Harry Potter came out, I was like actively like trying to figure out how to play the card games. And I never was good at it. I never was, but I had an Xbox game for how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I kind of learned how to play through that. But I since sold all my cards and I was very sad because then I realized like I still wanted them. So I've been slowly recollecting, but I'm also like kind of getting into playing Magic the Gathering, which is not that much different. So it's
I know all about all of that. I've never played it. Like, my brother is super into like Magic the Gathering, and
my boyfriend
so
got
like
me into it.
yeah, so he's really into it. His wife is really into it. So their whole friend group plays, and it's one of those things like I like to watch other people play, but I don't think I have the capacity to fully grasp any of it. Like,
yeah, it is. It's got a bit of a learning curve, I will say, because there is a lot that kind of goes into it. Like you have to understand what each kind of card does because there's different kinds of monsters and what their abilities. And Yu-Gi-Oh is the same way because you have to understand what your cards are able to do, and you have to have so much like mana, for instance, in Magic that you have to be able to play it. If you want a really easy way to learn how to play it, play the video game Hearthstone. Or Hearthstone, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
It's basically like Magic the Gathering, but a little bit more watered down.
Okay.
So if you're interested in learning how to play it, I would play that game because it honestly helped me with understanding how to play Magic way easier.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
But anyway, to get started with today, do we have everybody here, or has people been talking in the chat or anything?
I don't see anybody talking in chat, but there does say that we have like one person watching us. So hi.
Hello, one person. So we might wait to do the trivia until we can see a few more people come in because I want to make sure like people are actually going to be participating in the chat because to get through the final feast, what we are going to be doing is having a bit of a trivia night. We have several questions that have been taken from the first book of the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's or Philosopher's Stone for everybody outside of the U.S. because the U.S. has to have everything that's different from the rest of the world. So we have several questions that pertain to different aspects of the book, and we would love for you guys to participate in it. Every question that you answer correctly is going to give you 5 points towards your house. So this is a great way for Hufflepuff to stay in the lead, or Ravenclaw to, maybe make a little bit of a comeback. Or who knows, maybe Slytherin and Gryffindor will get some points throughout this. So that would be really cool too, because Gryffindor is yet to get on the board at this point. So, all right. So what should we discuss next until we wait for people? Oh, oh crap. I don't know. Oh, actually, I do know. So,
okay.
Out of reach. So, I don't know who else celebrates Easter. I love Easter. It's one of my favorite holidays because I get to see my family and everything. But also, every Easter, or pretty much every holiday that comes around, my mother decides that she's going to get me a book. So, Christmas, I usually get a lot. Easter, I usually get like 1 or 2. And this year for Easter, I got Shout by Laurie Halse Anderson.
Oh.
And I got the signed edition. So, I'm very excited.
God, cool.
Oh, I'm so excited. Here, I'll show you. There's the sign right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know how many other places. So I don't know if they did this in Illinois, Adrian, but in at least my high school, was from a small town in Michigan. And at my high school in our freshman year, we basically in our English class got to read Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, which I think was her first book that she ever came out with. I don't know if they had you guys read it at that time, but we read it as part of an assignment, and it basically like opened my eyes to like the ideas of like sexual assault and rape. And so I was really surprised to see that kind of a story. And from what I know, this is supposed to be kind of the antithesis of that in a way, where instead of having a character that is like completely terrified to death about talking about the fact that she was raped, I think this is supposed to be someone who it basically says here the true story of a survivor who refused to be silenced. So this is like the complete antithesis of that. Like I think almost 20 years or maybe 10 years after Speak came out. So I was really excited to get this for Easter because my mom saw it and she's like, I feel like I recognize that name. And I'm like, yeah, because I read her other book a while ago. So that was exciting.
First of all, like I don't really know so much how this will make sense in a second, but I really don't know like what kind of books that kids read in high school here. Because first of all, I grew up in Alabama.
Oh.
Fun fact. So I grew up in Alabama, but I was actually homeschooled up until my senior year of high school.
Oh,
so
wow.
My reading was very different.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I was homeschooled from 4th grade through my junior year of high school. And at that point, I met all state minimums to graduate. Like I was done. And our high school where I live now, they do dual enrollment. So you could go to the high school and take classes at the high school that counted for college credit.
Yep, so they had that at my high school too.
Yeah. So I went for a senior year. My senior year, I enrolled in the public high school, and all of my classes were dual enrollment. So basically, I got college credits for free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I went into college as a sophomore.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I kind of I had like a whole semester. So I was like a second semester freshman by the time I went to college. So I graduated in December. So I've been out of college now for about 5 months, and that's been interesting to say the least.
Yeah. I went in as a sophomore and I left college as a sophomore. I never finished. Or no, I finished as second semester junior. I never finished my degree.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh.
Well, I finished my associate's degree, so I have like an actual associate's. I don't have a bachelor's.
Okay.
So finished an associate's, so I do have a paper degree that goes on all my applications and all that, but I did not finish my bachelor's because I got pregnant.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I finished my first year as a junior. I finished it sitting on the floors of my classrooms because I was 8 months pregnant and couldn't fit in any desks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I sat on the floor for like the last month of classes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And at that point, I was like, I want to finish my degree, and someday I may finish my degree, but I also really like staying home with my kids.
Hey,
So
you know what? That's totally cool. You know, you got your kids, you're happy. As long as you're
oh, yeah.
happy, that's all that matters.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and I'm very, very fortunate that I can do that because I know there are a lot of people who just can't stay
Mhm.
home with their kids. Like, they just can't do it. And my husband has a really great job, which means that I can.
Yeah,
So
that's always
great.
good, like, to know that you feel like you're secure, and yeah, you're
Mhm,
right. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that can't do that, and it's very unfortunate for them because I know that there's a lot of people who have to go through, having 2 jobs while raising kids that,
mhm.
wish that they could be there, and I do not have kids myself, but I would like to think that I would like being a mom, but at this point, I'm a little too
Yeah,
scared to have kids, so
that's fair. They are a lot. I
well,
love my kids to death, but they're a lot.
yeah. So yeah, so what did you guys do for Easter? Do you guys have any special traditions for Easter?
Um, we don't really have necessarily special traditions. We do, we're Christians, so we do the whole Easter thing.
Mhm.
So we had sunrise service, which that's early in the morning.
Yeah, for a 4-year-old,
So we went to that.
that's probably not good.
Oh yeah. Our church is great though because sunrise service you go to and then they serve you breakfast after sunrise and then they do like a normal
Oh,
service. And so most kids go to sunrise service in their pajamas. So you just get them out of bed, chuck them in the car, take them in their pajamas.
that's
So
so cute.
yeah, it's cute. Oh hey, oh, my husband's in the chat now.
Oh, hello. Hello, Adri's husband. What's your husband's name?
Yeah, George.
Oh, hi, George.
So yeah, so we did that, and then we live 3 hours drive away from like the rest of my family's like extended family, grandparents, all that. And so after sunrise service, we packed up kids and drove out there, and we did Easter egg hunt and all that fun, traditional like fun Easter
Yeah,
stuff with the kids out up further north. So
that's fun. That's always a good time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my family, we haven't like my parents never really took me to church, so we never really did any of that. And just growing up, it was a lot of like just having family dinners. It used to be
Hmm.
going to my great grandmother's house for Easter, like Easter lunch and stuff. But
Yeah,
she passed away a couple years ago, so we can't do that. We don't really do that anymore because nobody else on that side of the family wants to hold a big event like that because
the
it's
big get together. Yeah.
yeah, because my grandpa, it was his mom, and he had like 6 other siblings, so
Oh
it's
my
a lot.
gosh.
Yeah, so now it's basically just been either at my house or my grandparents' house, which they live next door to my house. We usually have like Easter there, and my parents, it's always chocolate, something like a book. For me,
Mhm.
my sister, I don't quite know what it is. Sometimes she gets books if she wants them, but sometimes it's just like new softball socks or something because she's a huge softball girl. Um,
Ooh,
my boyfriend, my parents got him a PlayStation gift card because they didn't know what else to get him. I was like, that'll do. He'll be happy with
that
that.
works. I mean, that'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's always fun. And then usually around Christmas time, we have my dad's side of the family meet up in like early December. So I usually get like 1 or 2 books at that party, and
Mhm.
then I usually get books for Christmas for my birthday, and if there's any other holiday that comes around that they're like, here, books, I'm like, thanks, I will take them. Because then
Yep.
I don't have
Yeah.
to buy them myself and spend like $300.
Exactly. Books are always a great gift. So
They
yeah,
are.
always good. Yeah, we
And
don't do candy. Like we don't give our kids candy for Easter, but that's not because we don't want them to have it. We don't give it to them because everybody else gives them candy.
mhm,
So
they get
yeah,
enough as it
it's
is.
like less candy that I have to give. Yes, so it's like they get candy from literally everyone else. So we just get them like a toy or something. Like they're still really little, so their interests are pretty basic.
Gotcha.
So like Lauren got an Anna and Elsa dolls because she's obsessed with Frozen right now. So
Oh,
she got those, and then Ryan got this like mat, this like floor mat that you can get with stamps and markers that you just use water and it will
oh,
draw and then it dries and it's blank again.
yeah,
So
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I remember when those came out.
yeah.
We have some of them where I work right now, so the kids are always just like, I want it. And I'm like, I'm not the one that's giving them to you. That's your parents' job.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. Like my Ryan has already pulled it out. Like he knows where it's stashed. And so he'll pull it out and just like lay it down, and then he'll bring me the markers that are empty and don't have any water in them, and like
help.
ask me to make it. So like make these work. Like, okay. Yeah. So he loves it, and Lauren loves it too, which is great because they can entertain each other and get lots of creative time in.
That's fun.
Yeah, they love it.
All right, so how are we looking? Besides George in the chat, is there anybody else?
Yes, we have 3 people now. I see Kit Kat is in here. Kit Kats can read.
Hi, Kit Kat.
Here with us.
She's one of my Hufflepuffers.
Yes. I don't know who else is here because you have to talk in the chat for me to see you. But
yeah, if you're here in the chat, or if you're here watching the video, please let us know in the chat so that we can start figuring out who's who and whose houses are what. I know Kit Kat, you're part of Hufflepuff. So just let us know that you're here, and we can actually maybe get started with asking some questions.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got a few people. So when basically how this is going to work is we have a small set of questions. We've been slowly trying to like think of some questions, and we just didn't really have a lot because I feel like most people know the majority of what goes on with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer or Philosopher's Stone. So we have like 14 questions here. Each one's going to be worth 5 points, and those points will be going towards your house. So when you send in your answer, just write them in the chat and make sure that at the end of your answer, you write down the name of the house you were a part of so we can write it down and then add in those points later in the Discord. So everybody good? Ready? All right, let's go. So the first question we have is, what did Harry see in the mirror of Erised when he first came across it? This was a very awesome scene. Honestly, I remember the scene being so heartbreaking when I was really little.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was good. Like, I will say, I'm like the minority here for Harry Potter, where like I didn't read them as a kid. I read them later in life. So it was really reading them for the first time as an adult was rough.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna go with the first answer we see with this in the chat. So if you get the answer in first and you get it correct, you get the 5 points.
Oh, there we go. I say I've got chat open so I can see it. So Kit Kat has got it. She got the answer right. He saw his parents.
Perfect. Nice job, Kit Kat. Okay, the next question. What was the name of Ron's pet rat? I don't like this one. I just don't like this character at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not a good dude. Not a good dude at all. I always thought, though, it was so interesting how he could keep it up the whole time.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Although that, I think, is that big reveal is like book 3.
Yeah, it is book 3, but yeah. I'm honestly, I feel like the majority of people here have read all of the Harry Potter books.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah. So, Peter Pettigrew, I'm surprised he could keep up with being a pet rat for so long, because that must have been super hard to do. Like, I don't know exactly how the Animagus thing works. Like, if you're able to just, like, if there's, like, an internal timer or something, like, that would be interesting to know, like, how that whole thing works.
Okay, Kit Kat, I got it again. Scabbers.
Sweet. All right, Scabbers, that is correct.
Yes. And if Kit Kat gets them all right, good for you, because Hufflepuff can just pull ahead.
Yes.
And if nobody else shows up to answer, then bad.
Okay, so question 3 is, what animal can Professor McGonagall transform into? Kind of going back to the Animagus thing. That's just something I've always been interested in. I don't feel like they ever really like discussed that. Is like, how does the Animagus thing work? Is there an internal timer within people that they can only hold it for so long? Or is it like just slip in and out anytime for as long as you want? They never explain that, I don't think.
I don't know, because they talked about Yeah, George, you can earn points for Gryffindor since Gryffindor doesn't have any.
That would be perfect, actually, George.
And Kat got it right again. Kat,
Okay,
she
cool.
answered first.
No, George, seriously, if you want to, we would totally be okay with you doing stuff for Gryffindor if that's your house, because Gryffindor has no points at this point. Slytherin is in third with 50. Ravenclaw is in second with, I think, still under 2,000 points.
No, we just went up. It's 2020.
2020. Okay, and then Hufflepuff is in the lead with 2,100 something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, let's find out.
Somebody look at the Discord.
Hufflepuff has 2,130 points.
Sweet. Okay. So, Gryffindor, we would really like to see some points on there. So that would be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
All right. The next question. What is the number of Harry's vault? This one's a hard one. I would not have remembered this if I didn't have it looked up at the time, because there's two numbers I can think of, and I never remember which one is which.
I never would have gotten this one. I'll be honest. Like, I just wouldn't have.
I just remember one of them specifically, but I could never remember, like, because I knew it was an important number, but I couldn't remember which one, if it was Harry's vault or the other vault. And it always, like, tripped me up. I'm like, it's never the one I'm thinking.
Nobody's answered yet.
It's a hard one. This is one of the harder questions, I think, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Which actually, it might even just be the hardest one, because I think the rest of them are pretty easy to remember. Numbers are always hard for me to remember, though, when it comes to books.
Yeah. George says he knew the other three answers.
You got to be quicker than that, George.
Oh. Kit Kat says 687. I don't have the answers in front of me.
That is correct. It is 687. The one I always was thinking of it was 713, which was actually the other vault that was involved, where they had the Sorcerer's Stone. When I was a kid, I always got them messed up because I could never, like, I remembered both sets of numbers, 687 and 713, but I could never remember which one was which. And it always made me so angry when I had it wrong. I was like, God dang it, why can't I remember which one's which?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So
again, numbers I'm terrible with. I was never going to get that one right. But that's like really hard one. So
it is. So the next one should be fairly easy compared to that. So this is, where did Harry sleep in his aunt and uncle's house? That one I think should probably be one of the easiest ones.
Oh, that's a funny. Kit Kat says that she had to listen in her head to the goblin from the film.
Oh my gosh, really? That's really funny.
That's smart.
That is really smart, actually. And actually, Adrian and I were talking about this earlier, where a lot of the questions that we were thinking of kind of play well with if you watch the movie or you read the book, because we were talking about how the first 3 books of Harry Potter pretty much are adapted almost exactly in the movies. Mm-hmm. Like, Chamber of Secrets missed out on a really awesome scene that I think they could have incorporated with Nearly Headless Nick, but you know, they still did a really good job with the adaptation of the movie. I was really impressed.
Yeah, they did. All right, George got that one first, so Gryffindor officially has 5 points.
Yay! That is amazing. Yay, George. Okay. Actually, perfect question for Gryffindor. Who is the head of Gryffindor House? This one should be pretty easy, too. I feel like everyone knows mostly the heads.
That's true. The films did miss out on Peeves. He didn't exist. Did he? Did he exist at all? I don't think he was even in there.
No, he was. Like, he was a huge part of it. But the scene I'm thinking of from Chamber of Secrets is actually the Death Day party, because they never mentioned it in the movie. And it was a huge thing for Nearly Headless Nick, because it was in the dungeon and they learned about, you know, his past and everything, and how he was never put into the, headless hunt or whatever, because he was nearly Headless Nick. So it was an awesome scene. I just was so upset
So that was really close. George got it first for McGonagall, but George's answer popped up right before Kat's did. Like, it was close.
That's really close. All right. Next question. How did Harry's parents die according to the Dursleys? Because so there's the real reason they died, and then there's their version that they told Harry. What is that version?
Oh, you guys are really fast. Yep, George got it right. Got it first. Car crash. They're literally one after the other, like almost immediately.
That's awesome. Okay, moving right along then. So, probably the easiest question out of, well, I don't know. I think it's probably the easiest one when I think of it, but who is the headmaster of Hogwarts? And we're thinking currently within the story. So, because that changes a couple times over the course of the entire series.
It changes.
Yeah. So we're thinking for this one, who in the Sorcerer/Philosopher's Stone, who is the headmaster?
Georgia got it again. Dumbledore.
Sweet.
Answer first.
All right. Next question. This is a very specific scene, and the reason I picked this is because it's one of my favorite scenes. How does Harry meet Hermione for the first time? What exactly happens within the scene that they meet? One of my favorite scenes from the movie.
Our answer wants to be as specific as you can get. So. Yes.
It's one of my favorite scenes from the book, and it's one of my favorite scenes from the movie because it's so adorable. Like one of those. It's almost like a meet cute scene for me. I don't know why.
It's very cute. I mean, I have the unpopular opinion of couples who I think you should have ended up with who in the end, and yeah, that was my meet cute. And I'm like, oh, they're so cute together.
Yes. This might take a little bit.
It does, yeah. Because if you're gonna get specific, you've got a whole like. Yeah, Kit Kat says on the train, which is correct.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes.
We were hoping a little more specific than that. Like, what was the scenario for why they met on the train?
Yes, because it's a very specific thing. Hint, she goes looking for something.
Mm-hmm. I always forget we're on a delay. So, like, we answer the question, then have to wait for them to hear it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, that's always been, like, weird, because I did live shows. I used to do live streaming for a game that I used to play a long time ago, and it always messed me up trying to look at the chat and, like, kind of barely hearing myself in the delay, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Okay. Looking for Neville's toad.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Another thing is to Hermione fixes the glasses, but the big thing is that she's looking for Neville's toad. So I will give that to them. Who was it? Was it Kit? Was it Kit Kat?
Yeah.
Okay.
George said she was looking for Crookshanks. Nope, not Crookshanks.
Wrong animal.
wrong animal. Different animal.
Yeah. She does a lot of that in book 3, I think, looking for Crookshanks. Or at least in the movie she does.
Yeah. Well, was it the third movie that had what was it? Spew? Was that what it? The house elves.
Yes. No, that was book 4.
Because
that was okay. Little bit of a rant here because this is why I hate Goblet of Fire so much. I hate the movie Goblet of Fire. It's my least favorite of the movies because of the fact they completely left out the spew stuff with Hermione, with the fact that she was trying to raise a revolution to free the elves that were in the castle. It was so annoying that it was completely missed throughout the entire thing because that was such a huge thing for Hermione.
Yeah.
And then it's my boyfriend's favorite movie, so I'm like, really?
That's right.
But he never read the
most action, like from the early movies.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I feel like the last movies 4 through 8 technically, since book 7 was put into 2 parts, they had to focus more with the action because there was more of it. But I was still so mad. I was like, why did you leave out the spew content? That sounds really weird out of context, just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 10 is whose wand is similar to Harry's? We find this out in the scene with Ollivander towards the beginning of the book.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself again real quick.
Ooh, bless you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. That looked like it was a big sneeze.
Yeah. I told you, I've got a cold. It's terrible.
Ugh.
Voldemort. Kit Kat got it right again.
Awesome. I keep spelling Hufflepuff L-E-L, not L-E.
Thank you.
Okay. What does Hagrid use instead of a wand to produce magic? I was going to include something about him specifically, but I don't think anything about Hagrid's past comes in until book 2.
Yeah, we don't really know a whole lot.
Because I think with the Chamber of Secrets and the scene that happens with him when it's revealed like how he was even expelled in the first place, I don't think that they talk about anything about him like that until that book.
I don't think so. Oh, George got it right first.
Sweet.
More Gryffindor points.
Okay. Very easy question. So this might come down to who gets it first.
Yep.
What kind of animal does Harry decide to keep for a pet? This is going so well. I'm excited.
I know. This is fun. And also, like, I'm thinking I need to, like, reread these books, and maybe I could start making questions for, like, future rounds, since the goal is, you know, each round will be another book.
Yeah.
George got answered first. He's an owl.
Yes. That I will give him that.
We'll give it an owl. Yeah.
It's a snowy owl. Didn't need the breed, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What is the house that the hat thinks Harry should be a part of? Not what Harry thinks, what the hat thinks. What is the first one that he's like, you need to be in this house? Another scene that I think in the movie was done super well. I'm just going to say, like, that whole movie just makes me so happy. Like, anytime my sister's feeling sick, that's the movie she will go to because it always makes her happy, and I always love watching it with her.
That's good. George got it first. Slytherin.
Nice.
And Kit Kat, I'm guessing autocorrected Slytherin to Southern.
Oh, autocorrect. All right. So this is the last one I've written, but I have a couple more in my head that I think we can add in. So the last one I wrote was, why is Nearly Headless Nick called by that name? And I'm going to write down the next one I can think of.
George says failed beheading.
Yes, nearly had his head chopped off. I will give him that because that's pretty much it. It was a failed beheading. Yeah. So Gryffindor gets that. Sweet. Okay, so the next one I was thinking of is where does Harry meet Professor Quirrell for the first time? That's a really important scene.
It is, and I'm trying to think the answer. I don't know that I know the answer to this one. Because this wasn't one that we had beforehand.
No, this was one I was thinking of as we were going because I realized like that's a pretty important one considering Professor Quirrell.
Yeah, considering the ending of the book.
Yeah, seriously.
Nobody's answered yet, so I'll have to see.
This one might be hard because it's one that I think is not thought of, but the placement is actually pretty important considering the rest of the series because it's a pretty popular place throughout the rest of the series. Or at least for like settings. Like it's not really of any actual importance, but
yeah, like I said, I don't know the answer to this one. So I don't know.
trying to think, what was the
George says the bookstore in Diagon Alley.
That is not correct.
Not correct. Okay.
Hey, Kat, do you know?
Ouch. Bashed my hand on the desk. Oh, the question was, where did Harry first meet Professor Quirrell? It's very startling seeing myself in the alternate real. In the leaky cauldron is.
That would be correct. The leaky cauldron, because if any of you remember, if you read the books or watched the movies, the leaky cauldron is one of the more popular places of settings within the entire series, and that's the first place that we go to when Harry is going to the area where, like Diagon Alley, because it's one of the only places that in London they can go, because there's the wall that's behind the leaky cauldron that they go through. So yes, Hufflepuff gets that. Okay, so this one should be pretty easy. What is Professor Quirrell's big secret in the entire story?
So obviously the answer to this question would be spoilers. So I guess if you
haven't read the book at this point, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, also, why are you here for a Harry Potter trivia quiz?
Exactly.
Kit Kat got it. He has Voldemort as a part of him.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, so next question. Who is the coach for the Quidditch teams? Like, who's kind of like the big, I guess not really coach, but the big referee for the Quidditch matches?
Referee is a good term for
that. Shoot, I had the next one in my head.
Madam Hooch.
Kit Kat. Yes, that is correct. Kit Kat, you said?
George says Pomfrey.
No, Madame Pomfrey is actually the nurse in the infirmary. Okay, I have the next one right here. I'm gonna have us go to like 20. We're on 18 right now. So the next question, continuing with the Quidditch idea, is what is Harry's position in Quidditch? What is he considered?
Clicking my computer. That was really loud. George got it. A seeker.
Awesome. Gryffindor. Okay, next question. What does a Remembrall do? You guys remember Neville's Remembrall? What does it do?
I love that thing because it's just so funny and kind of useless. Like,
I mean, because when he gets it, it's like.
Yeah, George answered. It reminds you of that you forgot something.
Yes, that is correct. And that's like the funniest scene of the whole thing is I can't remember what I've forgotten.
I know, which is so funny. It's like the magical equivalent of tying a string around your finger so that you remember, to help you remember something.
And then you never remember what it is that you're supposed to remember.
It's completely a waste of magic.
Okay, so I didn't write it down, but I have the question in my head. So the final question, not for really all the marbles, but the very final question that I have is, why is Harry considered the chosen one in like the whole story of the Sorcerer's Philosopher's Stone and the entire series? Why is he so popular within this entire story?
George says because Voldemort failed to kill him.
Correct. That is the correct answer. Harry Potter is the only person that Voldemort tried to kill that it did not die. And it is explained very later on in the series why that is. It's kind of like subtly talked about throughout the rest of the books, but I think it's in book 4 that it's really nailed down why he was the only person that he never killed.
Yeah.
So.
And Kit Kat says that he's a part of a prophecy, which is
yes, true. That is entirely true. That comes in book 7.
That does, yeah.
Which, to be completely honest, book 7 is not my favorite out of the rest of them, mostly because of the fact that I feel like it was a lot of J.K. Rowling just trying to tie up loose ends, and it was kind of messy, but led to some interesting folktales that I really enjoyed within the world. So
that's true, yeah.
So, Kit Kat, you are correct, but that was not the answer what we were looking for. Okay, so those are all the questions I can think of that really has any particular importance to the story of any kind.
Especially the first book. So
yes, just the first book. So now I can't remember what exactly we decided, Adri, with the next round. I think we decided we were going to do book 1 again, but it's for a specific purpose. We were kind of on the fence. So
yeah.
To give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge of what's been going on, this entire round we've kind of been using as a trial run because we came into this very much with life preservers on the entire time because we were jumping into this feet first with our creator, Arah, having been absent due to some mental health issues that she was dealing with that she decided to hand this over to us. And we've been trying to do this as best as we can. And we've been kind of like seeing like sink or float how this was going to do.
Yeah. We just got chucked in and we're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So a lot of what we've been doing with the riddle and the form and all of that and the live show, we've been really just trying to get things figured out for the future. So we would really appreciate your guys' feedback with some of these things. If we're going to also leave the Google form in the Discord for you guys to be able to answer the riddles. So make sure you check out the vlogs and Instagram posts for everybody.
Yeah.
As far as the
I'm
next
going to post that. I'm going to post the form as soon as we're done, as well as with that post will be the links to the videos that have the answer that, the answer is hidden in. So you guys can go ahead and do that afterwards and try and earn some more points for your houses.
Yes, that I don't think we decided on a points yet for it, but we will figure that out before we send them out. So the next round, I think we were talking about it, all the hosts, the prefects and everything. We had discussed the idea of maybe having the next round still being book 1 because the fact that we were doing this as a trial run, but some of us were also thinking just using it as book 2. So we're undecided as of yet what it will be. But by the time November comes around, we will have a definite answer as to what we are doing. So if you have participated in round 1, be prepared to possibly have to reread the Sorcerer's Stone again.
Just I know a lot of people also didn't read it this time, myself included.
Yeah, me too.
If we do it again and you didn't read it, you can always reread it.
Yeah. So again, we were mostly using this as a trial run, and we realized that there's a lot of things we need to work on. First of all, as we discussed earlier, we are moving the first round of the next year of 2020 into May instead of April. And we just know we have a lot of bugs to work out, but we would really appreciate your guys' feedback with everything and letting us know if there's anything else you'd like for us to do within it. If there's anything like scheduled sprints, I think that was something we talked about, was scheduling the sprints a little bit better. So it's not just, somebody's doing it all day and they're not so very far apart.
I think we haven't done sprints in a long time.
Yeah, I work a full-time job, like 40 hours a week, and I work in the mornings and afternoons. So most of the time I get home, I'm very tired and I don't want to do the sprints, but I still read, or I forget that I have to do sprints. So if we schedule them, definitely we're going to end up doing that because it's going to be better. But if there's anything else you guys would like for us to do, if there's other events you want us to do, challenges, anything like that, if you have challenge ideas, that would be so great. We would love for you guys to have as much input in this as possible because we want to do this for you guys. This has just been a really fun competition despite it being so very lax at this point.
Yes. And one thing that I think we all kind of agree that we need to make sure we do next time is announce it a lot sooner because we announced it like a week before April started. So we were kind of late to the game on that one. So definitely step 1 is announce earlier. Oh, you're quiet. You're muted again. Hold on. Let's see if I can use the magic powers to fix it again. Are you back?
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Please be patient with us. We are still, really trying to work this out. But I think for the most part, we have a good idea of what we want to do with round 2. And we're just not sure if we're going to actually make it like book 2 or if we're going to go back to book 1. So just let us know what you guys would like for us to do with it, what you guys would like for us to do in the future. I don't really know if there's anything else that we need to do. I feel like Gryffindor definitely has gotten some great points thanks to George. So thank you, Gryffindor. That's really been awesome. They're finally now on the board. Hufflepuff definitely has now pulled ahead, I will say, because the fact that we had no Ravenclaw people here.
I know. My Ravenclaws didn't show up for this one. Or if they did, they didn't answer.
Right. So Kit Kat, thank you so much for helping us today with that for Hufflepuff. And just a reminder, you guys still have 2 full days to read more books. So this is not the end of the HouseCup-a-thon as of yet. You have until I would say 11:59 p.m. on April 30th. So you have until Tuesday night to finish your books and get your points in. If you have not put your points in on Discord, please put them in. That would be so great.
Yes, if you do not get them in, they don't count because we can't read your minds, especially through a computer.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, and one thing that I just want to remind everyone too is when you put in your points, make sure you let us know if they've completed any certain challenges that you have picked them for, because that gets you extra points. And I would say even if you didn't read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, if you finish it before the end of the month, let us know. We can put that in. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is also a trial run, so we can be a little lax on the.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But so thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we hope you had a good time. And Adrian, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really. Thank you guys so much for watching us do this. We're excited to kind of see how we can grow this, and hopefully by the next round, Arah will be able to actually head this up, because she, like we said, she was dealing with her own personal life issues in real life, so definitely had some stuff going on. So she couldn't be here, but we wanted to go ahead and do it for her because this was her brainchild that we absolutely adore.
Yes, we loved it.
Yes, and apparently Kit Kat's going to get some more Hufflepuff points because she says she's nearly finished with her current read.
Oh, yay! That's exciting. I am too. I was telling, I don't know if I was saying it before we started the questioning, but I was telling Adri earlier, I am nearly done with the Clash of Kings. Yes. So that's going to get us a nice big 150 points because I get 100 points for the 500 plus pages and then 50 points for completing my intimidating read challenge.
Oh, that one definitely qualifies for that challenge.
Oh, yes. I think I started the audiobook in March. So definitely counts for my intimidating read challenge. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to attempt to read one more book, hopefully before the end of the month. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to start Legendary by Stephanie Garber tonight. So.
How do you like that? I've heard like mixed reviews on the series.
I don't know. I haven't. I only read, obviously, since I'm about to start Legendary. I've only read Carnival, and I actually I liked it, but I'm interested because I know the second book follows the lead from the first book's sister.
Yeah,
and everybody I've seen was like, "Oh, I really didn't like the Scarlet, I think was her name, was the main character of the first book. Like, oh, I really didn't like Scarlet. Like, I thought Scarlet was fine. Like, she wasn't my favorite, but I really didn't like her sister. And I was like, oh, she was my favorite character. She was so great." I'm like,
yeah.
I guess we'll see how this book goes.
Well, I wish you luck. So if you guys have any questions for us, please let us know in the Discord, and we will try to answer them the best we can. And always, as always, contact your prefects if you also have any specific questions for them, because we are all here to help. We are all here to make this super easy for you. But otherwise, that's kind of it for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Bye. Bye.